Nisan, the 17th of Nisan, third day of Passover, marks the Hilula of a really great Moroccan rabbi. His name was Rabbi Meir Abuhatzeira Z'tl, also popularly known as the Baba Meir. Now, it was reported over, he was born in English in 1917 and passed away in 1983, to be precise, on the 31st of March, naturally just before the month of April. He was about 66 years of age when he passed away. He was famous Rosh Yeshiva, Mekubal, a Kabbalist, and one of the great Moroccan Israeli rabbis of, let's just say, the 20th century, respectively. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, he was born in a very prominent Jewish area in Morocco called Tefi Lalat, a place we've spoken about on various occasions before. He was reported over to have been the firstborn of Rabbi Meir Abuhatzeira, another great rabbi who we've spoken extensively about. Also, he was probably known as the Baba Sali. It was his Hilula at the start, towards the start of the month of Shvat, and we've related over various videos on the greatness of the Baba Sali, respectively. And I believe his mother's name was Rabbanit Barcha. I believe she happened to be actually from the house, the family of Amsalem, great rabbinic family in of itself from Morocco. And while he was young, he was known to have been like, let's say, an Ilui. He was had a phenomenal memory, especially when it came to Torah studies in of itself. And by the time he was bar mitzvah, he was the brilliance of the great rabbi was very, very apparent. He was tested on pretty much on various different books and was able, let's just say, to answer everything on the Shev Shema Atata, I believe, as it's let's just say it was on 7 different, let's say, topics on halacha within regards to various different important halachic encompassments in of itself. And just shows the greatness and the potential he had at even such a young age. I believe while he was young, he would get married. And I believe he would marry, his wife's name was Rabbanit Simcha. And this would, I'm not so sure the exact age he was, but I believe she happened to have been from the house, the family of Shukron, if I'm not mistaken. And I think her father's name, his father-in-law's name was Rabbi Meir, if I'm not mistaken. Very interestingly enough. And much more can be said within regards to that. Yeah. So they would have, I think, daughters and sons together, it's reported over. When he was only 20 years of age, he would actually be appointed, I believe, reported over as a judge in Rabat. Absolutely phenomenal position. And I think that's actually, Rabat is the capital of Morocco, respectively. And he was tested in the Dayanet. And even though that these tests were very, very difficult, he was able to pass it with flying colours. It just showed the great Britain. And I believe at another stage, if I'm not mistaken, he would, shortly after these exams, the head of the Jewish court would actually write even to his father about the greatness within regards to how he was able to grapple with this exam with such confidence, and it was written over. Now, I believe he would be ordained at the rabbinate at the age of 25 years old, which is phenomenal, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he would have been about 25 years of age. Now, I believe in the Hebrew year, Hey Tafshin Hey, the Rav would actually be appointed the rabbi of the city called Midlat, I believe, in Morocco, and who become the Rosh Yeshiva of the Tomchei Tamima Yeshiva in of itself. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been actually connected to Chabad inside that city. And then he'll be appointed the Rosh Yeshiva in Hey Tafshin Yud Gimel as a rabbi of the city of Arpad. So these are various different, prominent, great positions, especially in Morocco in that point in time. It was absolutely phenomenal. Jewish communities in various different, let's just say, vicinities in of itself. Come on, Tisha B'Av, I believe in the Hebrew, Hey Tafshin Chaf Chet, I think, which happened to be reported over on a Shabbat, or Chaf Hey, to be precise, sorry, Hey Tafshin Chaf Hey, which happened to be on Shabbat. Sadly, his wife, Rabbanit Simcha, passed away. She was buried, I believe, in Meknes. And that year, he would actually now move to the land of Israel and would settle in Yavne, and then afterwards in Ashdod, respectively. I think, I'm not too sure if this was on the same year, respectively, or not. Now, I think later on he would get married second time after, obviously, his first wife sadly passed away. His next wife's name was Rabbanit Mazal, and known as a very, very great tzaddiket, very righteous woman. And I believe they would have a son, Rav Yeshua and Rachamim, if I'm not mistaken. Very interesting. And much more. Also, I'd recommend everyone to learn more within regards to the family tree, within regards to his specific line. And it's actually reported over, he actually had mastered the entire Babylonian Talmud Bavli, by heart, where he didn't even need the Gemara in front of him, it's reported over. And he was a man known for miracles within regards, especially he mastered Shmirat Ayin, it's reported over. People will come to him asking for advice, for blessings. And even during his father's lifetime, it was reported over. Sadly, I think he became ill towards the end of his life, and he passed away in Ashdod. I believe it was on the 17th of Nisan, on I think the second or third day of Passover, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the Baba Sali would pass away a year after, if I'm not mistaken, the famous Rabbi Yisrael Abuhatzeira. So it was sadly, the world was lost of two great Rabbanim within regards to a year period. He was buried, I think, in Har Zaitim, Mount of Olives burial plot cemetery. And so let's look at some of the commemorations of the great rabbi. Now, I believe his sons and grandchildren, the great Rabbanim, would usually celebrate his, let's say his, I think even his birthday, if I'm not mistaken, with a great feast, Sudat Mitzvah, with the large congregations in of itself. For example, in Naharia, this city, they establish Yeshivat or Meir Simcha under his name. Moshav Meron, that I think was established from his son Rav Raphael Abuhatzeira, a Beit Midrash Meir Einei Yisrael. And I think also under the name of the famous Baba Sali, also in Rachsim, was established, I think, through his son Rav David Chai Abuhatzeira, a large Beit Midrash called the Kol Simcha, and I think that was actually after the name of his mother, respectively, Rabbanit Simcha, who was a wife of Rav Meir, and I think that was his first wife, if I'm not mistaken. Machon or Lisharim or Meir Simcha. This actually came out, I think it was in manuscript form, if I'm not mistaken, from the rabbis of the family of Abuchatzera, which was named after him, this book. I think there was a different song or piyut that was also named after him. He composed, for example, Rav Meir did various different poems, dozens of poems, as reported over, very well known and widespread throughout the Jewish communities of Morocco. And I think among these poems, that it was actually named, let's just say, Yachid Ram Yarot Choshev, and there was various other great poems that was actually published, I think, which actually featured in the book of Yigal Yaakov, if I'm not mistaken. Let's explore some of his descendants. I believe from his first wife, Rabbanit Simcha, I think the majority of his children were actually born. As we stated before, she passed away. I think she was only 45 years of age when she passed away. His second wife, Rabbanit Mazal, she would become the mother of Rav Yeshua and Rachamim, if I'm not mistaken. She would pass away on Chet Av, Hey Tafshin Ayin Hey. I believe she was 85 years of age at the time of passing, and she would be buried also in Har Zaitim. Among his sons included Rabbi Elazar Abuhatzeira, who was a great rabbi in Be'er Sheva, rabbi we spoke about on various occasions before. Rabbi David Chai Abuhatzeira, who would be the chief rabbi of Naharia, rabbi we've also mentioned about extensively inside this series. He was born actually in the year 1952. I believe he's a chief Sephardi rabbi of Naharia, and he's been a great rabbi in various different vicinities. May he live till Me'ah V'Esrim Be'ezrat Hashem. Also, Rabbi Raphael Abuhatzeira from Ashdod, Rabbi Yekutiel Abuhatzeira from Ashdod, another great rabbi who we've mentioned about on various occasions before, from the rabbinic dynasty of the Abuhatzeira family. He was actually born in the year 1960 and is currently 65 years of age. Another one, Rav Yeshua and Rachamim Abuhatzeira, this is from his second wife, I think become a Rosh Kolel in Ashdod, respectively. Now among his daughters, Esther, Rabbanit Esther. And then there, I think from Jerusalem, then Rabbanit Shula, Solika, if I'm not mistaken, she's the wife of Rav Aminadav Machluf Crispin Rabbi of Kiryat Bialik, respectively. I think very interesting enough. He was actually the chief rabbi over there, I think between the years 1980 to 2009. Then Rabbanit Zahari, she happens to be the wife of Rabbi Chaim Pinto, another great rabbi who's spoken about on various, I think we've mentioned him on various occasions on this series. We mentioned about various different great rabbis from the Pinto family. May he lived till 120, and he was a president of the Mostot Mekoubayot, and very interesting. Okay, and among more of his generations, let's just continue exploring. I think that just trying to mention Rav Yukub. Okay, Rabbanit Margalit. She happens to be the wife of Rabbi Yosef Toledano, who happens to be the rabbi of Givat Zev, respectively. He passed away, I believe, in the Hebrew year Tafshin Ayin Daled. He did, but he was a very great rabbi, which I recommend everyone to learn more about him. Another one of his daughters was Rabbanit Yocheved, the wife of Rabbi Yaakov Abuhatzeira. He happened to be the rabbi of the Moatzot Azorot Gezer, Rosh Yeshiva and Kollel of Eshel Abraham in Ramle. Interesting enough. His son was of Rav Abraham Abuhatzeira, respectively. So much more can be said in regards to all these great Rabbanim, the famous Abuhatzeira rabbinic dynasty. We've already related over many videos on the great rabbis from this dynasty. I recommend everyone to look over those videos. It's his Hilula here on Yud Zayin Nisan. And friends, we're a community here. We're learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. Now, if you happen to be descended or related from any of these great chachamim, it would be great to hear more. If you feel anyone's interested in watching any of these videos, please share these videos to other people. We're a community here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. We're coming close to 7,000 members. We hope that's a target by Lag BaOmer Be'ezrat Hashem. Wishing all Chag Sameach, Moadim L'Simcha, recording from the city of Ramat Gan. Take care and be well. Have a good night.